NASCAR just dropped a massive news that's sure to stir up controversy in the world of stock car racing. They've changed the rules for how starting lineups will be set, why qualifying has been so unfair recently, what NASCAR is doing to level the playing field, how teams might exploit the new system. We will break down these massive changes. Smash that like button and let me explain exactly how your favorite drivers just got screwed over big time. Let's start by reviewing how NASCAR currently sets the starting grid for its races, since that's the system they are changing up. As it stands now, drivers are split into two groups at random for qualifying. Each group participates in a 15-minute qualifying session, with the top 5 fastest drivers from each group advancing to a 10-minute final round. It's the times from that final Fast 10 shootout that determine the pole position and the front half of the field. For the remaining spots, it is simply the qualifying times that set the order. However, here's where the controversy starts. Depending on conditions like temperature, wind, track grip, and so on, there are frequently large differences in speed between the two groups. It's not uncommon to see gaps of 0.3 of a second or more per lap. This has led to complaints that the group draw plays just as big a role in starting position as actual performance. To see why this matters, imagine a scenario where conditions favor Group B. The fastest driver there nails down the 6th quickest time overall, but ends up starting 16th just based on qualifying in the slower group. Meanwhile, the 8th quickest driver from Group A parlayed the advantage into the 13th starting spot. Drivers have spoken out that this system punishes good teams based on luck of the draw rather than merit, and it's hard to blame them. In response to those complaints of unfairness, NASCAR has tweaked the procedures for 2024. Now drivers who qualify in Group A will occupy the even-numbered spots between 6th and 20th position. Group B drivers fill the ODD spots in that same range. Everything else remains the same. The final round shootout determines the order of the front 5 rows as normal. This change aims to create more equality between Groups A and B when setting the mid-pack of the field. This levels the playing field and takes draw luck out of the equation. While it doesn't address things like track conditions, at least now drivers know lining up 12th versus 15th won't be decided by a random draw. Expectedly, reactions have been mixed to this change. Drivers who have borne the brunt of a bad group draw in the past welcome the decision. This creates a more fair opportunity based on team execution. Meanwhile, drivers who have benefited from the randomness of the groups have voiced skepticism. While qualifying position is always important, how might these changes impact actual race strategy? Well, conventional wisdom says that starting on the inside line provides an early advantage, as it moves you out ahead going into the first turn. We could see Team B drivers who now start odd-numbered spots push the pace extra hard early to gain position before the inside line bogs down in traffic. Of course, early aggression could backfire by causing incidents or wearing out equipment prematurely. The biggest beneficiaries might be Team A drivers, who landed just outside the final top 10 qualifying. Now they'll start the race on the protective outside line, but with less traffic to battle through initially. I expect crew chiefs to crank up the simulation programs to game out all sorts of scenarios before we actually see this shakeout on the track. While the qualifying procedure itself got the headlines, NASCAR also dropped some other rule modifications coming next season. Greatly reduced requirements for wet weather equipment like windshield wipers or rain flaps on short tracks. The only exceptions being grooved tires and defoggers to deal with dampness. This lightens cars and reduces costs without plans for full rain racing, penalizing teams who purposely wait to change drivers until after qualifying groups are set. Since order impacts performance, some teams try manipulating the schedule for an advantage. Expect crew swaps to happen sooner moving forward. Tweaked mufflers on the specialty street course races to dissipate heat better after complaints last year. Perhaps most shocking, though, was news that NASCAR will run exhibition demonstrations of electric vehicles they have in development late next season. While there are no imminent plans to convert the top series to battery power, it does signal NASCAR is investigating greener technologies. At the end of the day, this qualifying shakeup indicates NASCAR remains willing to tinker with formats to appease drivers and fans. While it might only impact a handful of starting positions, perceived fairness seems to be a priority. And who knows? The dynamics created by locking teams into inside or outside rows could shake up race strategies too. And that's a wrap on these game-changing NASCAR updates. This is shaping up to be a pivotal year for stock car racing, as NASCAR continues to refine competition and take input from teams more seriously. They certainly aren't afraid to make bold moves. Let me know which change you think will have the biggest impact next year. Are you pumped for this qualifying shakeup or nervous about larger changes like electric vehicle testing? Drop your reactions in the comments. Be sure to smash those like and subscribe buttons. Thank you for watching.